Welcome to The Secret Case, where we uncover the most disturbing crimes in history. Today we will talk about one of the most shocking cases, Mary Bell, a girl of just 11 years old who shocked the entire United Kingdom with the heinous crimes she committed. How could such a young girl have the ability to carry out such terrible acts? Throughout this video, we will explore her life before the crimes, the details of the murders she committed, and the consequences of her actions. This case has left its mark on criminology due to Mary's unique profile, who from a very young age showed signs of psychopathic behavior. So, if you haven't already, subscribe to The Secret Case for more shocking content and remember to activate the bell so you don't miss any video. Now, let's start with the story of Mary Bell. Mary Flora Bell was born on May 26, 1957 in Newcastle, England. From the beginning, her life was marked by abuse, neglect, and chaos. Her mother, Betty Bell, was a sex worker, and her biological father was never present in her life. From a very early age, Mary was a victim of physical and emotional abuse. Her mother reportedly attempted to kill her on several occasions during her childhood, which undoubtedly left deep scars on her psychological development. Betty also often abandoned Mary for long periods of time, leaving the girl unattended and without the affection and security that any child needs. Mary's home environment was toxic and violent. Her behavior began to reflect the abuse she was suffering. She often displayed aggressive behavior toward other children, but no one around her seemed to notice the warning signs that indicated something was seriously wrong with Mary. From an early age, Mary displayed alarming behaviors that foreshadowed what was to come. By the age of 5 or 6, she was already displaying cruelty toward other children and animals. Her antisocial behavior became more and more pronounced, and the adults around her seemed to ignore the signs. One of the most alarming incidents before the crimes was when Mary tried to suffocate a schoolmate. Although this type of behavior could have led to appropriate intervention, nothing happened. The environment in which Mary grew up allowed her to continue her spiral of violence without any psychological support or adequate control. The context of poverty and abandonment in which she lived did not make it easy for anyone to notice her situation or seek help. Despite her troublesome behavior, Mary was an intelligent child, which made her even more dangerous. She knew how to manipulate others and use her apparent innocence to hide her darkest intentions. On May 25, 1968, the day before her 11th birthday, Mary committed her first murder. The victim was Martin Brown, a boy of just 4 years old. Mary lured him to an abandoned house in Scotswood, a working-class neighborhood of Newcastle. There she suffocated him to death. Authorities initially believed Martin's death to be an accident, as there were no clear signs of foul play. What made this crime even more disturbing was Mary's subsequent behavior. She returned to the scene of the murder the next day as if nothing had happened and, along with her friend Norma Bell, displayed absolute coldness towards the deed. They even showed up at Martin's house, asking his mother if they could see the boy, knowing full well that he was already dead. The second murder occurred just 2 months later, on July 31, 1968. The victim was Brian Howe, another 3-year-old boy. Mary took him to a vacant lot, strangled him, and in a particularly gruesome act, mutilated his body. She also carved her initials into the boy's skin, a clear sign of her need for control and power over the situation. Following Brian Howe's death, police began to investigate further, and suspicions soon arose about Mary Bell and her friend Norma. Several people had seen the two girls at the scene of the murders, and Mary's behavior caught the attention of investigators. Not only did she show no remorse, but she also seemed to enjoy the attention she was receiving. During interrogation, Norma quickly confessed, but tried to pin the crimes on Mary. Mary, however, initially denied any involvement, although her story did not match the facts. Eventually, evidence, including the handwriting she had used to carve her initials into Brian's body, incriminated her. Mary Bell was arrested and brought to trial in December 1968. Because of her age, the case generated enormous media coverage. The fact that an 11-year-old girl could commit such horrendous crimes shocked the nation and the entire world. The trial of Mary Bell was an unprecedented case in English legal history. The fact that such a young girl was accused of 2 murders sparked great controversy over how to legally deal with minors who commit such serious crimes. Mary was diagnosed with psychopathic personality disorder, indicating that she had a limited understanding of morality and lacked empathy for others. Norma Bell, who had been charged alongside Mary, was acquitted, as the jury found that she had been manipulated by her friend. However, Mary was found guilty of manslaughter with diminished responsibility, which meant that her mental capacity at the time of the crimes had been a deciding factor. She was sentenced to life in prison, but because of her age, she was sent to a juvenile detention center instead of a traditional jail. Mary Bell spent the next 12 years of her life in correctional institutions. During that time, she remained relatively out of the public eye, although her case remained a topic of media interest. In 1980, at the age of 23, Mary was released on parole. She was given a new identity to protect her from public scrutiny and possible acts of revenge. Since then, Mary has lived in anonymity, and little is known about her later life. In 1998, the press discovered that Mary had had a daughter, sparking a new wave of media interest. However, British laws have protected her and her daughter's identities to prevent the notoriety of her past from impacting her present life. Although decades have passed since Mary's crimes, the question of whether someone who has committed such heinous crimes can truly be rehabilitated remains a matter of debate. The Mary Bell case had a profound impact on the way juvenile crime is approached in the UK and other countries. The idea that a child could commit such cold-blooded and violent acts changed public perceptions of underage crime. Mary Bell's case has also been portrayed in popular culture in several books and documentaries. In 1998, journalist Gitta Sereni published a book entitled Cries Unheard, in which she recounted her experience interviewing Mary Bell as an adult. In the book, Mary spoke for the first time about her life, the crimes she committed, and the circumstances that led her to become a murderer. This case remains a warning about the importance of early intervention in cases of child abuse and behavioral disorders. If the warning signs had been heeded in time, perhaps Mary Bell's story would have been very different. This has been the case of Mary Bell, a story that shows us how important it is to be alert to the signs of abuse and psychological problems in children. The tragedy of this case not only affects the victims, but also society, which witnessed how a childhood marked by violence and mistreatment can lead to such a dark outcome. Mary Bell's story remains a reminder of the need to provide support to minors who grow up in difficult environments and ensure that they receive the necessary help to prevent cases like this from happening again. If you are interested in this case, don't forget to subscribe to El Caso Secreto for more shocking crime investigations. You can also activate the bell to stay up to date with our upcoming videos.